Chida Engineering Limited, but had stopped functioning. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the contractor was engaged and instructed to rectify the defect before retention money could be released. The contractor had mobilized and rectified the problem, which later stopped functioning before retention money could be released. The contractor was again engaged. However, he failed to rectify the defect within the given period, resulting into the termination of a contract and forfeiture of the retention money. The withheld retention amount of 28,667 will be used to rectify the defect using our engineering department. Alternatively, a separate contract could be entered with number E. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure close supervision and monitoring of bore drilling and construction by the water engineer and other project team members to achieve value for money. We move on to number 2, poor workmanship, apron. 6 water points had damaged aprons at Kaleo Primary School, Bokaya, Fumbaika, Karierie, Kashitu Market, and Baptist Church. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wish to state that 6 water points had damaged aprons resulting from poor workmanship by the contractor Drilling Company Limited. Taken. Management wishes to state that the contractor was engaged several times on phone and in writing to rectify these defects. However, the contractor failed to execute the instructions within the stipulated period, resulting into the termination of the contract and forfeiture of the retention money. Management, through the engineering department, will rectify the defects using the forfeited retention money. Refer to Appendix E. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure close supervision and monitoring of all the projects in the district through the project teams that have been constituted. Item number 3. Water overflowing out of the soak pit. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wish to state that the soak wells were poorly done by the contractor Sashi Drilling Company Limited, causing water to overflow. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the contractor was engaged several times on phone and in writing to rectify these defects. However, the contractor failed to execute the instructions within the stipulated period, resulting into the termination of contract and forfeiture of the retention money. Management, through the engineering department, will rectify the defects using the forfeited retention money. See Appendix E. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure close supervision and monitoring of bore drilling and constructions conducted by the water engineer and other project teams to achieve value for money. We move on to D. Questionable payment. Road opening from Kafulafuta River to Mupapa Bridge. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wish to state that a sum of 30,000 kwacha, 150,000 kwacha was paid to Chio Electrical towards labor cost for road opening from Kafulafuta River to Mupapa Bridge. However, physical inspection of the site could not be carried out because most officers were new and did not know the location of the site. Action taken. Management wishes to state that further inquiries were made with the new Ward Development Committee chairperson, who managed to locate the road in question leading to Cabbage Bridge as known by the local people and not Mupapa as indicated on the project name. The works carried out involved road clearing and widening leading to crossing point where footbridge was being constructed. See Appendix number F. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure to enhance and strengthen poor documentation of all projects from inception to completion to avoid such occurrences. We move on to E. Management of soft loans. Failure to utilize interest earned on the revolving account. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor on the failure to utilize interest earned on the revolving account for soft loans amount totaling 54,275 kwacha. Action taken. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wish to state that the interest earned on the revolving account for soft loan totaling 54,275 was from 2023 CDF loan repayments. The interest was therefore utilized in the following year 2024 CDF approvals. Remedial measure: management shall endeavor to utilize the interest earned on the revolving account for soft loan revolving. We move on to F. Other observations, administrative expenses. Cause of query: management acknowledges the findings of the auditor that 3 payments amounting to 34,460 were not supported with relevant documents during the period under review. Action taken: management wishes to state that all the relevant supported documents have been attached and are available for audit verifications. See Appendix number G. Remedial measure: management shall ensure that all payment vouchers have the necessary relevant supporting documents. Item 2. Unaccounted for stores. Cause of query: management acknowledges the findings of auditor that 4 payments amounting to 147,005,000 kwacha had no receipt and disposable details during the period under review. Action taken: management wishes to state that all the relevant supported documents have been attached and are available for audit verifications. See Appendix number H/I. Remedial measure: management shall ensure that all payments vouchers have the necessary relevant supporting documents. Item 3. Failure to maintain asset register. Cause of query: management acknowledges the findings of the auditor on the failure to maintain separate asset register amounting to 98,290,000 kwacha. Action taken: management wishes to state that the asset register have been separated from the main council asset register and have been attached and available for audit verifications. See Appendix number J/K. That the asset register for constituency development funds CDF have been maintained separately from the council asset register. We move on now to B, cross-cutting. Cause of query: management acknowledges the auditor's finding and wish to state that the sum of 115,681,000 kwacha was retained by the ministry for the insurance of Kafulafuta CDF monitoring vehicle, while a sum of 1,052,432,000 was retained under MASAITI constituents for the construction of Chief Mushiri's Palace and insurance of CDF monitoring vehicle. The total unspent funds of 8,962,002 and 2,824,016 under Kafulafuta and MASAITI constituencies respectively were due to some running projects which crossed over into 2024. Management cause of query: management acknowledges the findings of the auditors that the sum of 936,751 was retained by the ministry for the construction of Chief Mushiri's Palace. Action taken: Management wishes to state that the ministry awarded a contract to Zambia Correctional Service the Chief Palace. However, the construction works did not commence due to the succession disputes in the chiefdom, which made it difficult to settle for a site for the project. The matter is currently in court, and we are advised to wait until the matter is resolved by the courts. See Appendix L. Remedial measure. Management shall continue engaging the Provincial Chief's Affairs Office on the matter to have the project commence. We move on to page 15. Chair would like to substitute this page. So this page is now appearing on the first page of the submitted appendix. So we can ignore this page and we can refer to the page which is in the
addendum.
Yes.
Okay, we may proceed. You may switch off if you are still consulting.
Yes, because I went straight because of okay. Oh, sorry, I'd skipped one item, Chair. Allow me to refer you back to page number 14.
Honorable members, let's go back to page 14. By the way, sitting in for the chair, Motelo Mishek, MP for Mitete, your humble servant. We may continue back to page 14.
Thank you, Chair. Appendix 2, total unspent funds. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor on unspent funds for Kafulafuta amounting to 31,422,005, out of which 17,311,472 was balance brought forward for 2022. So page 15, just like I've already indicated, is substituted with another page which is attached.
Yes, proceed.
Action taken. Management wishes to state that the unspent funds have since been spent as shown on the table below. See appendix number M. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure that all the approved projects, loans, grants, and bursaries are timely implemented. We move on to Appendix 2.1, Unspent Funds, Community Projects. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor on unspent funds for community project for both Kafulafuta and MASAITI constituencies amounting to 5,147,009, representing 34%, and 2,624,508, representing 18% respectively. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the unspent funds were due to some running projects which were not completed at the time of audit and have since been completed. Refer to Appendix M. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure that approved community projects are implemented timely.
Yes. Let's proceed.
We move on to item Appendix 2.2, Unspent Funds, Empowerment Grants. Management cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor that 100% of the empowerment grants for both Kafulafuta and MASAITI constituencies were fully spent. Action taken. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor that the 100% of the empowerment grants for both Kafulafuta and MASAITI constituencies were fully spent. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure that all stakeholders in the approved process for empowerment grants are fully engaged and sensitized on the need to efficiently process the applications so that grants are timely dispersed. Appendix 2.3, unspent funds empowerment grants. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditors that 100% of the empowerment grants for both Kafula-Futa and MASAITI constituencies were fully spent. Action taken. Management wishes to state that it shall continue to timely and effectively process the applications for empowerment grants through engagement of all stakeholders in the approval process. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure that all stakeholders in the approval process for empowerment grants are fully engaged and sensitized on the need to efficiently process the applications so that grants are timely dispersed. Appendix 2.4, secondary boarding and skills development, bursaries. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor on unspent funds for secondary boarding and skills development. Bursaries amounting to 3,326,206, representing 31%. Action taken. And management wishes to state that the unspent secondary boarding and skills development bursaries amounting to 3,326,206 was because of low number of applications received for secondary boarding and skills development bursaries. Therefore, the funds were varied towards community projects. See Appendix N. Remedial measure. Manager continues to sensitize the WDCs and communities to encourage to apply for respective bursaries. Appendix 2.5, unspent funds, administrative costs. Management acknowledges the finding of the auditor on the unspent funds for administration costs for both Kafula-Futa amounting to 55,572, representing 4%, and MASAITI amounting to 297,000 kwacha, representing 14%. Action taken. Management wish to state that the unspent administrative cost for Kafula-Futa and MASAITI constituents was reserved for monitoring of 2023 community projects that were not completed on the time of audit. Refer to Appendix number M.
Yes.
Remedial measure. Management shall ensure that approved community projects are timely implemented. Appendix 3, 2022 community projects. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor and wishes to state 2 projects under Kafula-Futa constituents were outstanding, which included the construction of a ablution block at Muwaya Primary School and drilling and construction of a bore at Chimanshi Primary School. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the construction of ablution block at Muwaya Primary School and drilling of bore at Chimanshi Primary School, which has been upgraded to a water scheme, are in progress. See Appendix O. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure that procurement of construction services is done timely to avoid delays in implementation and completion of community projects.
Yes.
Move on to Appendix 4, 2023 community projects. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor and wish to state that 2 projects from each constituency were outstanding, which included the rehabilitation of a 1x3 classroom block at Kaleo Secondary School and repair of ceiling and painting of Katua Health Post and Staff House in MASAITI constituency, while rehabilitation of Chiwara Ring Road and construction of ablution block at Chiwara Health Post. Action taken. Management wishes to state that all the outstanding projects were executed and completed in both constituencies. See Appendix P/Q. Remedial measure: management shall ensure that procurement of construction services is done timely to avoid delays in implementation and completion of community project. Item number 5, analysis of performance, youth, women, and community grants. Cause of query: management acknowledges the finding of the auditor that 100% of 2022 youth, women, and community grants were dispersed as at 31st December 2023. Action taken: management wishes to state that the full disbursement of 2022 youth, women, community grants was as a result of constant engagement of all stakeholders to timely process the applications from communities. Remedial measure: management shall continue to engage all stakeholders in the approval process to timely process the applications. Appendix 6, change of projects without approval. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor on the change of projects without approval by 40 cooperatives in Kafulafuta constituency with funds amounting to 537,960, and 80 cooperatives in MASAITI constituencies with funds amounting to 1,564,984. Action taken: management wishes to state that the affected cooperatives were engaged and advised to request for consideration of new projects by the Constituency Development Fund committees. The cooperative applied for consideration of the new project, citing reduction in the amount they applied for and what was approved. Arising from this, the Constituency Development Fund Committee for Kafulafuta and MASAITI constituencies respectively sat and recommended to the provincial local government officer for approval of the new projects, and the projects have since been approved. See Appendix R. Remedial measure: management shall ensure that WDCs and committees are sensitized on the adherence to CDF guidelines and the procedure for changing of CDF projects. Appendix 8, performance analysis, soft loans. Cause of query: management acknowledges the findings of the auditor that the approval rate for Kafulafuta and MASAITI constituency soft loans were 60% and 56% respectively, despite the final disbursement being 100% for both constituencies. Action taken: management wishes to state that the approval rate of 60% for Kafulafuta and 56% for MASAITI was as a result of guidance under circular. I'd like to make a correction there. It's supposed to read guidance 122/157. Note to downscale projects.
Honorable members, let's take note of the changes. Yes.
Not to downscale project amounts without considering project proposals. Therefore, the funds available could only accommodate 60% of the applications received under Kafulafuta and 56% of those under MASAITI constituency respectively. Remedial measure: management shall ensure that it adheres to the ministerial guidance regarding loan amounts to be approved. We move on to Appendix 9, failure to recover loans.
Yes.
Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor on the failure to recover loans for Kafulafuta, which is 78,435, and in MASAITI 69,555. Action taken: management has continued to engage both the financial institutions and the loan beneficiaries on the need to comply with the CDF guidelines on loan repayment. However, currently, the loan repayment has increased from 78,435 to 512,004 for Kafurafuta and 69,555 to 374,368 for MASAITI constituencies respectively. See Appendix number S. Remedial measure. Management shall continue to engage both the financial institutions and loan beneficiaries to comply with loan repayment guidelines. Appendix 10. Secondary boarding and skills development bursaries. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor that 348 students sponsored under skills development for Kafurafuta constituents graduated out of a total of 595 students, whereas 232 students under MASAITI constituents graduated out of the total of 676 sponsored students. Regarding the secondary bursaries, out of 53 learners sponsored under Kafurafuta constituents, none graduated during the period under review, whereas 2 students under MASAITI constituents graduated out of the total of 284 learners that were sponsored. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the students that did not graduate at the time of auditing were still in school and have since graduated. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure to give timely status report on graduating students. Item 13. Analysis of performance of desks. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor on and delivered desk for MASAITI 170 desk amounting to 226,000 and Kafurafuta 699 amounting to 1,068,200 kwacha. Action taken. Management wish to state that all the 170 outstanding desks under MASAITI constituents have been delivered, while 607 had been delivered under Kafurafuta constituents. The variance of 62 is yet to be delivered by the new contractor, arising from the termination of a contract for 3 suppliers who have failed to deliver 250 desks. See Appendix T. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure that due diligence is done on suppliers to assess their capacity to ensure projects when awarded to them to avoid unnecessary delays. Appendix 14. Delivery of substandard desks. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of auditor on delivery of substandard desks for Kafurafuta 42 and MASAITI 57. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the suppliers of substandard desks were identified and instructed to rectify the desk in all respective schools, which has since been done. Remedial measure. Management shall closely inspect the supply of desks upon delivery to ensure they meet the specifications. In conclusion, I wish to reaffirm our commitment to ensure all CDF programs are implemented in adherence to relevant rules, regulation, policies, and guidance issued by government going forward. I submit, Chair. Thank you.
Yes, going forward, because where we are coming from, we have all these queries. Thank you so very much. I'm briefed that the officers we had asked for to come have come with you.
Yes, Chair.
Points of clarification. Honorable members. Yes, Honorable Dr. From Dudumwezi.
Chair, I'm grateful. I'm starting my question from page 1, Chair.
Let's go to
on
page 1.
Failure to equip Boho at Lupia Primary School. I wanted to find out from probably the procurement officer Here, Chair, they are saying that they stopped because the community had requested for a submersible pump. Was there anything illegal or illogical to equip the borehole with a hand pump? Because that's what was procured. So why change midway? You procured drilling of a borehole and equip it with a hand pump. So what was illegal or illogical in doing what had been procured? And
CS,
probably upgrade it later.
CS.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, as you are aware, we do these projects for the communities. Therefore, feedback is also gotten from them. When the projects were procured, yes, they were intended to be equipped with hand pumps. But the community had experience in the past where because of the constant breakdown of the hand pumps. So they thought that if they can be assisted, instead of equipping with the hand pump and end up facing the same breaking downs, why not upgrading it? And they submitted that they already had a submersible pump without accessories. So it was taken note of their request, and we thought that was going to be more impactful if we upgrade it to a water scheme. We submit, Chair.
Any follow-up? It's a follow-up, Dr. Manza? Yes.
At what stage in the project implementation process did the request come to change to submersible pump, and what procedures did you follow to arrive at putting this project on 2025 CDF?
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to bring in the Director Engineering.
Director Engineering.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, the request to upgrade the borehole came immediately after the borehole was drilled, before the civil works were done. I submit, Chair.
Do you have evidence pertaining to that?
Chair, what we have is a request that was made by the school to the council to request that the borehole be upgraded.
Where is that request?
Chair, under Appendix A.
Under Appendix A.
Yes, from the initial report that was submitted, that's why the request from the school is attached.
You may lead us. Is it in the addendum or the main report?
Thank you, Chair. It is in the main report.
Lead us.
Yeah, it is on the last part of the appendices under A. Chair, we have a letter that came from Lupia Secondary School, dated 29th June 2023. So that is the request that came from the school, Chair.
The last page, the last paper. Even though it's upside down. Some submitted reports are upside down. CS who request, are you there? Next time, those doing the reports must attend to it. We cannot be turning our books upside down.
Noted, Chair.
Yes, sir. Dr. Manza.
The follow-up, the engineer says that the request came immediately after the borehole was drilled. When you look at the timelines, this project started on 8th May 2023, and was supposed to complete on 8th June 2023. The request, as on Appendix A, the letter was written on 29th June. That is 20 days after the completion of the completion period of the project. So my question is, the contractor's contract period started on 8th May and expired on 8th June. Then the request to put a submersible pump came on 29th June. What did the contractor do during the period of his construction period between 8th May to 8th June?
Yes.
Then if the request came on just immediately,
just come and fix this. Sorry for it has just come out. Try, Doc. We are almost there. Just
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry for that inconvenience.
Yeah. So, okay. The first question was the contract period between 8th May to 8th June. What was the contractor doing when the application came on 29th June? Second one is, if the contractor, immediate after drilling, there was that request to put a submersible pump, why didn't you use the funding for 2024 to procure this submersible pump, waiting to put this project in 2025, this year, which I believe even up to now, you haven't even received the funding for this same project. 2 years. So why did you leave this gap to fund immediately after the contractor drilled?
Yes. Director of Works or the CS?
Director Engineering, Chair.
Director Engineering.
Thank you, Chair. To answer the first question, what the contractor was doing between the start date and the end date of the contract, Chair, I wish to mention that during that period, the contractor was working on other sites. He had a total of other 7 sites that were being implemented.
And do you have that on record to say he was working on other sites?
Sorry, Chair, unfortunately we didn't
so how
include that.
will your committee then agree to your oral submission?
Chair, we regret that we didn't include that.
You are saying a 150 from 2025 CDF allocation. This is when you are doing this.
Yes, Chair, this is when we are doing this.
But the request came 29th June 2023.
Chair, with your permission, allow me to answer that second question as well.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. So when the request came, at that time we had already allocated the 2023, so it wasn't possible for us to get additional funding.
From 2023?
From 2023, because we did not have any savings.
We hear you. 2024?
Then coming to 2024, we made a submission, Chair, to the CDF committee. Unfortunately, Chair, at that particular time, the committee was unable to allocate funds towards that project.
How?
And the reason was because I think at that time MASAITI, Chair, had a number of projects that were not fully implemented. we had a number of projects that were started, but they were not implemented. So we found that most of the funds went towards completing those other projects. So these projects here at that particular time was not prioritized. The committee decided that maybe under 2025, that's when it would be considered. So Chair, under 2025, because we had already allocated or implemented most of the uncompleted projects under 2024, it was now possible for us, Chair, to allocate funds under 2025. So what was happening, Chair, was that previously, most of the projects were being phased. So we found that in that particular year, it was not possible for the projects to be fully completed and also start operating when they are completed. I submit, Chair.
You know, the difficulties we have is that you are just talking and we are just looking at you. Are you seeing the difficulties your committee is put into? Well elaborated. The first question you said, unfortunately, even what you have said. What would be so difficult for you just to talk the way you have talked? And you want your committee to believe. We are evidence-based committee. Is it on the same doc? Yes, sir. Doc, then doc.
This contractor, Chair, was contracted to drill a borehole at Sashi drilling at Lupia Primary School. This Lupia Primary School was a separate contract on its own. That is why it has its own description on page 1. So the reason to say the contractor was busy elsewhere does not suffice because of the evidence here that this particular contract
is already settled because he has no evidence.
Then, now, on page 6.
Page 6
of the submission, drilling and installation of hand pump boreholes at Kashitu and Shimivanga Waj. The same contractor, Sashi Drilling Company, was engaged to drill 16 boreholes at 712,000, completion period of 16 weeks. Chair, the performance of this contractor went into like 90 functional boreholes with a lot of poor workmanship in various areas, and the contract terminated. And right now the council hasn't even given us proof as to how they completed those remaining works after they terminated the contract, such as, just to mention a few, on page 7, there's poor workmanship on one of the aprons, because remember there are 16 boreholes in different areas of Masaiti. So each one of them had a lot of issues that led to termination of the contract. And then also overflowing sock pits, which is on page 8, and then so this contract, 16 boreholes, was contracted on the 29th March 2023. Then a month later, the same contractor was awarded on page 1. The same contractor was awarded Lupia Primary School to drill this borehole that we just ended up discussing. The question is, this contractor was contracted area, 1 month area, before contracting for Lupia. Was due diligence conducted about his performance? Because he has left the council in problems, because all these 16 have a lot of workmanship issues, non-functional, and council has ended up withholding the retention, and they would rather want to use that retention now to rectify those defects using their own engineering department. Why was due diligence conducted on the performance of this contractor before you could even engage him? Just within a space of 1 month, you engage him on another contract. The second question is I believe these projects were approved at the same time about drilling of boreholes. Why did you have to separate contracts? After 1 month, you advertise for one borehole to a
Director of Engineering.
and the 16 to another place. Why? And yet they were all approved at the same time. Why did you separate them?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe to answer that question, allow me to call upon my predecessor to come in.
Where is your Okay, are you the one? Yes. We may continue. Switch off that one.
Yes, Chair. Thank you. To answer the first question, Chair, the due diligence was conducted. It just happened that the time the other contract was being signed or on which the contractor was being engaged, the defects had not resurfaced at that time. So that's the reason why this contract was there, and the one that followed, the contractor, the same contractor had to do it. Of course, this is done in a way they bid. So the due diligence was done, Chair.
Second question. You heard the second question, or has he to repeat?
Chair, I thought I answered both. I think maybe if it can be repeated, sorry.
It's about procurement. It's about procurement decisions. These projects, borehole drilling at Lupia Primary School, and these other 16 boreholes in different locations were approved were approved in 2023 at the same time. When floating the tender, you gave it a space of 1 month. 29th March, you advertised for those 16 boreholes, and you awarded this to Sashi. Then 1 month later, 29th April, you advertised and gave to Sashi again. So why decide to separate the procurement instead of, because they are all under one category of wet projects. So why couldn't you just advertise at once? Because it would actually save on mobilization costs.
You've picked it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Chair, thank you. I think maybe the procurement officer can help us on the same.
I like it. Let's hope we are not in the Garden of Eden, eh? Is it you, Adam? No, ask the wife. Is it you, Eve? No, ask the snake. I'm just the procurement officer.
Thank you, Chair. As MASAITI and Council, we did procurement processes for drilling of boreholes, which came total to 23 for both constituencies, Kaflafta 7, MASAITI constituency 16. So now these, if you total them, under procurement, public procurement regulation, section 38, the whole total of this project was coming to simplified bidding. So we had just to put them in lots. For Kaflafta, lot 2. MASAITI was lot 4. So they all advertised concurrently. And during advertisement, according to the same section, does not allow us to do publicly unless those are over 1 million. So what we did, we've got our database And Sashi was one of who had the past experience before we engaged him to do some other boreholes. So,
We hear you.
thank
But
you, Chair.
you've terminated this with vast experience. Have you?
Yes, Chair, we have.
Yes. So sometimes when you talk, officers, we read and listen. Who is going to finish this borehole? This 2025. Yes?
Thank you, Chair. The borehole repair is going to be finished by a different contractor now because
Who?
Chair, it's currently at procurement stage, so you're not
Yes,
able
sir.
to state the contractor.
Because you've not mentioned it, page 1. You've just said we are going to do it using CDF for 2025. It could be that you've already procured and given the same whom you've terminated. Doc, you had a follow-up? Dr. Singom, we'll come back to you, Dr. Manza.
Chair, part of my concerns have been
Raised.
cleared by Dr. Manza, but I'm still coming back to the question of logic. 2023. If you followed Dr. Manza, he has indicated that actually the letter of request came after the contract had expired. Okay? And when they were applying, it means that the school actually wanted the service. They wanted water.
Their need.
So, where is the logic? From 2023, you are pushing the project to 2025. And this is a school. Chair, I wanted to find out, what are they currently using?
What is the logic? I know you quickly want to answer what are they currently using. But what is the logic? They make a request in 2023, 29th June. You've not answered to their request to date. What is the logic? Where is the logic?
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, yes, as management, would have loved to respond to the request of the community almost immediately. But I think then we were tied up because...
You didn't even make a write-up to respond to them. To say, no, don't worry, we'll take care of you come 2025. You just kept quiet. That's the logic issue. There's no logic. The contract expires, they make a request, you push them further. I know you have the answer as to what are they using. That answer you have. But we're interested in this request. And then to page 7, more boreholes. You've terminated. Same contractor. Coming from 2023. Dr. Mwanza, do we still have a follow-up on this?
Yes, just a
So
quick
that
one.
we go to yet other questions.
Just a quick one on the financials on page 2.
Page
you're saying-
2,
you're saying-
DF, are you there?
You're saying they withheld retention amount of 28,667 on this Lupia primary school borehole. But when I look at your ledger in Appendix A, the balance on the contract is 33,875. Which balance do you want your committee to take on the contract that was done at Lupia Primary School?
Are you there? DF? That is specifically for the CSs. He may use the other. Only if you want to answer, sir.
Chair, we still feel the direct engineering can handle this one?
On the finances.
Yes, Chair.
Director engineering, the current or your predecessor, which one? Well, let's make progress.
Sorry, Chair, the current direct engineering.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Chair. On page 2, the amount that has been mentioned here, 28,667, is not on the borehole. It's on the 1x2 classroom block at Kalamba. So the actual balance on the Lupia borehole is the 33,000 kwacha that is indicated on the ledger. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Member of Parliament for Kalolosh, you had your hand.
Chair, I'll withhold my line of thought for now.
We say held. New questions? Yes, sir.
Page 2, Chair. Chair, on page 2, there is a waste expenditure non-functional of solar system. Maybe I can have one short question before I come to this one. I wanted to find out, with the help with my there is a school here, Chair, at page 2, going at 417,177 kwacha. It's a 1x3. And again, on the next page, there's another school going Nkuluma Shiva, going at 907. These are all 1x3 classroom blocks. And I just wanted to appreciate the difference in the scope of work. However, my substantive question on page 2 is to find out from MASAITI local authority as to whether the local authority does prescribe or did prescribe the type of the solar to be installed. I'm asking this question, Chair, is it was installed, then it was discovered that within a short time it stopped functioning. Again, I'm not too sure here whether it's the same man or same company who came and later disappeared. I want to find out, in the contract, was it clear, prescribed the type and the size of the solar to be installed? I'm asking the type, Chair, bearing in mind that contractors can just go on the street and get anything that can be used 2-3 weeks and then he stops working. We have Chair shoes. You buy a pair of shoes today just from the shop to your home. The sole is completely out. So did you prescribe the type of the solar that was supposed to be installed at this particular school? Thank you, Chair.
Yes, safe to say that on page 2 it's 1 by 2, and the other one on page 3 is 1 by 3. But I'm equally concerned. You engage the first what type of this solar system? It is installed, defect. You engage, rectified, defect. Engaged, defect. Now you are withholding. Yes, yes.
Thank you, Chair. I will take the first question, which is comparing the contract sum for Kalamba at 417.
Already taken. We've said this is 1 by 2, the other one is 1 by 3.
Yes, Chair, I wanted to help you by adding more information.
Don't worry, we will not go there.
Okay.
The issue is solar. You wouldn't want to take that one.
Director Engineering is a technical question.
Yes, that's our interest.
Thank you, Chair. Usually the size of the solar system to install is usually prescribed in the Bill of Quantity. Thank you, Chair.
So when they were installing, were you there?
Chair,
You saw that it was the right size or not?
Chair, what was installed was the right size. I think that was the time that I was coming in.
Yes, so here is a problem. Installed, defect. Engaged, rectified, defect. But it's the right size. Engaged, rectified, defect. Now you are withholding the retention. Where is, I liked the doctor from Dudumbwezi. Where is the logic? Anyway, the council is withholding the retention. Yes. According to your report.
Yes, Chair.
When are we going to finish, to settle this matter?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, what we've planned is that at the same school, we have a project that is taking place, which is currently at procurement stage. We are doing an ablation block. So, Chair, the same contract that is going to go there will be engaged here to rectify the defects on the solar system. That's the plan that we've made, Chair. Under 2025.
You see, honorable members are shaking their heads. Kalolush.
Thank you, Chair. I'm a bit confused, maybe saddened at the same time, on wasteful expenditure and how the people of MASAITI are not benefiting from this council. Everything is retention and brought forward. Obviously, for the solar to have been requested, for me, from the read-up, what I believe is that this solar never ever worked, not even one single time. Because there is no way, from your explanation, a physical inspection carried out on 5th of May revealed that the project was complete and in use. However, it was observed that the solar system was non-functional, thereby rendering the expenditure wasteful. We are admitting that the expenditure was wasteful. And from what doctor had been asking, were there specification on what type of solar should be put at that school? If yes, obviously I know that you as engineering department, through you council secretary, there's monitoring of these projects. And obviously I believe this is a very equipped team. You would have just seen obviously because one moment it's working, from nowhere it's not working. Obviously, these inspections did take place. And maybe my question was, is this council, is it negligence? Or is it that the council knows that government will provide other money that they will use again, and certain contractors, Chair, will be benefiting? Because if it's wasteful expenditure, this has, you put up another project at another school, and obviously looking at from when this solar was not working, and it's at procurement stage, prices have gone up. Obviously this money that you're holding here will probably not fix it, isn't it? So I'm wondering if there will be more money added to the fixing of this solar, or the prices remain as they, the balance remains as it is at 28,667, of which I can bet you the contractor will not do it, the current contractor who you would pick at procurement stage. Because looking at the period, prices have gone up. This school will never have power from my observation, because everything is brought forward. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable. You may switch off. You've heard that CS, and through you CS's Director Engineering or Director of Works, you've heard that. But logic, you've taken someone to go and do an abrasion block. We heard somewhere, maybe it's also happening in MASAITI. Is it a gentleman's agreement that this contractor will also fix the solar? Or you are just trying to use the one at procurement stage now?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe with your permission, Chair, allow me to comment on the monitoring of the same project.
Yes, monitoring, but the solar,
yes,
the power.
Chair, I wish to mention that the time that the solar was installed, we did inspect, and it was operational. Even 3 months later, Chair, after we certified that the solar was operational, we did also conduct other assessments, and we found that the solar was still operational. Regrettably, Chair, is that at the time that it broke down, I think the school did not communicate to us that there was a fault. Otherwise, at the time of even handing over the project, the solar system was operational.
If they had reported, you would have gone you yourselves to go and rectify.
Usually, Chair, what happens is that when a project has been completed, it is subjected to a defect liability period.
Yes.
And that is the period when the contractor, so what would have done at that particular time, Chair, would have engaged the contractor, because the contractor was still liable to that project.
So the school authority never communicated.
They never communicated.
And at that time, you yourselves also never took time to pass it through. Then external auditors came and they found that it was not functioning. Then in your report, you've said it was working, developed a fault, worked upon, developed a fault, worked upon, developed a fault. You want your committee to believe that. Sitting where I'm currently seated, the chair just said at that time, you are still very young. We do not take that. All we are interested in, you, we, and the end users, it's goods and what? Services. Finish. Here, see the time we are sitting. Imagine if there was no power. And this project, I've liked that phased. It's coming all the way from 2023. Like the boreholes, now solar. New questions, honorable members? Doc? Or a follow-up?
Just a follow-up, Chair. I'm not very convinced with the answer from Director Planning when he says that 3 months it had been functional. Their own report states that on the 3rd of April 2023, the council engaged Manchila Engineering Limited for the construction of the 1x2 classroom, and it gives us a scope of work, isn't it? And the project commenced on the 13th of April 2023 and ended on 30th June 2023. 1 year down the line, they had not figured out, the school could not tell them. We have councillors who sit on these ward development committees, and this is a project owned by the community. Why was there no report 1 year down the line that this solar is non-functional? Because you are saying that as of 5th May 2024, a contractor was paid totaling the amount you had given, leaving a balance of 28,667, the retention. A physical inspection on 5th May, it had to take you almost a year to go and do the physical inspection. Chair, I'm worried about MASAITI. I'm worried on the MP, I'm worried on the council, I'm worried on the mayorship. 1 year down line, you have a school which is supposed to have power, and
Honorable Member, what is your question?
my question is, I'm worried with this council. 1 year down the line, it is their figures in here.
You've put it correctly. The worry is the local authority, not the other figures mentioned.
They are part of the committee.
Your committee is worried. You may switch off. Dr. Mwanza, is it on the same, or we go to another question?
On the same, just for
it is an onion. You may go on and on.
Because this seems to be the trend there in terms of projects,
let's
capital projects.
Let's have your concern.
My concern is this contractor, Manchila Engineering Limited, was contracted to do, actually it was a completion project. The building was already there. Maybe it was already at, I think, maybe gable level. So this contractor was paid 388,000 out of the 417,000, which is 94% in terms of financial progress. And you terminate the contract when what remained was just retention money. In terms of physically measured works, he already was done, was paid already. In terms of civil works or procurement of civil works, was the contractor treated fairly? This is a contractor whose expertise are in civil works. This solar power system is just an auxiliary part of the project. Why would you use just that little part of the project to determine the contract, to terminate the contract because of the solar system, when the key components of the project he delivered? But now just the solar system, which is not even his measure,
you've made your point.
His measure, you terminate a contract.
You've made your point.
And now it also reminds me, that's why this the ledger, thank you for the correction, I just saw it now. Here you are reporting that it was 28,000 kwacha, that was detention. But on Appendix B, from the ledger, the balance is 45,000 kwacha. So which figure do you want us to take?
First, why did you terminate your contractor who had done all the works? Now the right figures for the ledger has come. There is a 45, it's on B, that was referring on to A, and there is a 28. Those two questions. Was your contractor treated fairly? Done all the works? Installed the solar? you terminate? In your own words, you inspected 3 times, all was okay. Why did you terminate? Then the balance here, intention 28. Then on the ledger 45. Let's have explanations.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, allow me just to say that in the contract that we sign, the contractor is responsible for all the works that he has executed up to the end of the contract and even during the defect liability period. And during that period, Chair, it is clearly stated that the contractor is supposed to rectify any defects that occurs.
And according to, he's been rectifying.
He rectifies.
And the correct space, correct sizes.
Chair,
according
just allow
to
me
you.
to clarify so that I
Yes.
help the committee to follow.
Yes.
Yeah, so Chair, the project was completed, it was commissioned, and then subjected to defect liability period. During the defect liability period, that's the time when the fault on the solar system was discovered. The contractor was engaged. He went to rectify, and few weeks later, again, the fault developed. The contractor was again engaged. So, Chair, at the time that he was engaged the second time, the contractor did not respond. We wrote to him, he still did not respond. So, Chair, according to the contract, where instructions have been given to the contractor and he has not responded, it simply means that he's failed. And he actually forfeits the retention. And Chair, it's just that unfortunately I'm not able to present a document. He did indicate to us that I'm not able to rectify, so I
So
can forfeit
let's
the
end
retention.
there.
Thank you, Chair.
Because you have admittedly said there is no what? Evidence. Even from the contractor, whom from your committee's end, you are now accusing to say the contractor even said I'm not able. The evidence which you do not have. Don't forget that area on you said to you, you've been going there and all things were okay. It is because the school authority did not inform you. Now the direction has changed. We engaged and re-engaged the contractor. Which one should we take? The school not informing you, or the re-engaging and the re-engaging, and then you are not able to produce evidence?
Thank you, Chair. I still maintain, Chair, the statement that the school did not engage us.
So far.
That one I maintain, Chair. So
It's okay.
I wanted to clarify, Chair.
No, you in the clarification you've admitted to say there is no evidence.
Yeah, I wanted to mention, Chair, where at the point when we come in to engage the contractor, it was after the auditors have gone to the site. So that's the time when the engagement started.
Was it still within the liability period?
It was still during the same period, Chair. That's why the contractor was engaged and he had to respond the first time. Thank you, Chair.
And you have no evidence to the latter time.
Chair, we have attached in our appendices the engagement that was done to the contractor and also the period that was given in which he was supposed to rectify the defects. So it was after the expiry of the period that was given that, Chair, the contract had to be terminated because he was unable to rectify. Thank you, Chair.
Now there are two things. The contractor wrote to you to say I'm not able. Here you are now, things expired. That's why sometimes we advise you to take it easy, so that our report will not be contradicting itself. What should we take? He did refuse, or the period expired?
Chair, what we are supposed to get is what we've submitted.
Let's end there. Any other question, honorable members? Yes. The finances, the 28 and 45.
Yes, and also this, the same page 2, you are saying they withheld retention of 28,667 will be used to rectify the defects using our engineering department. So you have seen, as supervisors, as project managers, you've seen the contractor come back to rectify the defect. It works maybe for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. The fault develops again, and they are withholding 28,667 to for the engineering department.
Doc?
What is the fault? What is the technical fault that the contractor has been working on, and what is the cause of that fault?
So let's end there, because I was coming to that. You now have 2 questions. Don't forget the balances. Now what has brought in? I was quiet. Your report says you use your department. Your own mouse indicated we have a contractor that is at procurement stage. We'll give that work to this contractor. You know, when you are talking, we are listening, and we are also reading. So let's start the balances.
Thank you, Chair. So, Chair, according to the contract, so the balance on the contract sum from the 417 is the same 28, which is the retention amount.
The
And
45.
And then coming, Chair, to the ledger. So, Chair, the way the ledger was done is that they did not pick the contract sum. They picked the total allocated amount. I think that's how they were doing it on the ledger. So the amount, so if you check on top there, if you check, Chair, so if you check, Chair, on this same report, you realize that the first entry is actually 434,036 kwacha, and that was the total allocated amount for this project. So this is the amount that was entered in the ledger. So that is why, Chair, it is indicating 45, and it's not done in relation to the contract sum.
It is done in relation to what?
To the allocated amounts, what was approved for the project.
Here is the allocated amount. You have already used. Then there's some money remaining. If we were to say 45 minus 28, taking to the nearest, what would be the use of the difference? Where will you put it?
Usually, Chair, on any project, if there's a saving that is there, we go back to the CDF committee to report.
So the more you explain, I like giving you, I don't want to say give enough rope, because the end for giving enough rope is not good. Honorable members, on this one, let's end. Any other question? The fault. What is the technical fault that now the engineering? Now, okay, thank you for reminding. Which one will rectify the fault? The one you are engaging to do the abrasion blocks, or yourselves according to your report, so that we put records straight?
Thank you, Chair. The major fault that is there is on the inventor.
Wait. Who would rectify the fault? First you said there's one doing abrasion block. Now in the report, it is your department. So which one?
Chair, we take it that we engage our department because.
So why did you decide to give us that information? Would you like to withdraw?
Chair, I would like to withdraw that to engage the contractor.
And then you maintain what you submit.
So we maintain that, Chair, using our electrical engineers, we are going to rectify the problem on the solar system.
Which is that fault?
Chair, the fault is on the inventor. So we intend, Chair, to replace the entire inverter. So that's the problem that has been there.
You've now seen it now. All the times you've been monitoring, You never saw that the inverter was at 40. With my indulgence, let that follow-up question be the last one on this one.
You see, you've checked it is the inverter. What is the 40 on the inverter? Is it because all engineering projects, the specifications, they come from your side. Contractor just prices and supplies these items. So what specifications are for this inverter that are different from what the contractor supplied? Because the contractor supplied and you've certified it was okay and you even paid. So we want to check who is at fault here. Your specifications, you should have actually set aside the make of the inverter, even the power rating. So the supplier supplied and fixed according to your
What's the question, sir?
The question is, what problem is it in the inverter? Is it specifications mismatch? Or just internal? The specifications are 100% correct as matching your demand, but is it just a factory fault?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Like I earlier stated, Chair, the specifications were very correct according to what we specified. The problem, Chair, was just with the inverter itself, I think with the factory issues. Thank you, Chair.
As we are going towards winding, honorable members, we'll make our own conclusions. We are just sampling. Page 9. Yes, repeat the cause of query.
Thank you, Chair. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wishes to state that a sum of 30,150 kwacha was paid to Chio Electrical towards labor cost for road opening from Kafurafuta River to Mupapa Bridge. However, physical inspection of the site could not be carried out because most officers were new and didn't know the location of the site.
You know the question that comes. How do you allocate monies to a site that you do not even know? Action taken. Read.
Management wishes to state that further inquiries were made with the new Ward Development Committee chairperson, who managed to locate the road in question leading to Cabbage Bridge as known by the local people and not Mupapa Bridge as indicated on the project name. The works carried out involved road clearing, widening, leading to crossing point where a footbridge was being constructed.
You know, there are two new words. The first in the cause of query, because all the officers were new. But the one who goes to find out the location is also new. And changes the name. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. This project has been known as Cabbage Bridge. Even when I went to MASAITI with my former director engineering, they took me to the site.
Took hold there.
Yes.
So, which are these officers which were new? Because you were taken to the site.
Chair, as I said, the former director, so I don't know whether it was handover or what, because we went to the site to be shown this project.
But here, the cause of query, all officers were what? new and bearing that name. But you and your director went there, and you know it as cabbage. What should we take? Just to put our boxes straight. When was this new word development committee chairperson? Was it at your time?
Yes, Chair.
The old ones could not know.
Chair, the issue which is there is we have a bridge in MASAITI. So this bridge, by one side of the bridge, we have a school called Mupapa. Then on the other side, we have an area where they used to grow some cabbage some time back. So in the same project, the description we are making, this is actually the same project. They would call it Mupapa, others would also call it Cabbage Bridge. Unfortunately, maybe the time the auditors went there, it was discovered that officers were new, or maybe people would not even locate where it is exactly. So both names are actually correct. I think where we erred is maybe, I think it's consistency, where this word is mentioned Mupapa and the other side is also cabbage. I think that's what was confusing to the officers. So what we can take at the moment probably is that's what we put in the contract, in the description of the same project.
And what's that?
Mupapa.
CS, the current. He make amends. That now this has gone back to Mupapa. Okay, I'm not saying you should write. I'm saying you should mention it yourself. Oh, are you in agreement because he was there, now he has left, you are there? What should we take? Cabbage, Mupapa?
I think, Chair, he has clarified we should take Mupapa.
But we have the new word development committee person who I should think comes from there and says this should be Cabbage Bridge. You are disputing against the one you've mentioned here. You are siding with your colleague. We want to put our records straight, we. What have you agreed? Yes, current director, engineering.
Thank you very much, Chair. Since my predecessors clarified that the same road was leading to Mupapa school. So, Chair, I can state that we can take Mupapa as it
I
was
don't
mentioned.
want to be in MASAITI, because at the end we'll call it Cabbage Mupapa.
We can call it Mupapa, Chair, as it was stated in the contract. Thank you, Chair.
But you allocated monies to a place where you did not know. And paid. I've liked one word from Doctor from Dondomwes. Where is the logic? It's, I'm told, in the olden days, where you marry a picture to say this is the wife you are marrying. Not now. CS. You are CS Kalomo now, eh?
Yes, Chair.
Yes. How do you allocate monies to a place that you do not know?
Chair, I don't think it was that the place was not known. The issue is that when the auditors came, the probably new director are the ones who got confused by the name. Because I remember in his time before he came, we were dealing with this project and those works were opening the roads and so on. Even when we went to visit the project, we saw those works.
How come if you saw the works, they go there, the works were not there? It has just been cleared. I'm constrained, and you know why I'm saying I'm constrained. Since you have also said Mupapa, we'll take it like that. It's a new question? On the same Mupapa.
I'm interested in the works that were worth 30,000. 30,150. The description, the scope of work is to carry out road clearing and widening, leading to a crossing point where a footbridge was being constructed. And we are told that this was a labor contract between council and CHIO engineer electrical contractors. So CHIO electrical contractors were just paid the labor cost that went up to 30,150. We are referred to Appendix F to show the contract that was signed between CHIO and council. Sure, so is this a standard contract? Because maybe unless I have a different page, but you open, the first one is it's written contract agreement for opening Kaflafuta River Road, Mupapa Bridge in Chikundwe, Kaunga Zone. Then the second page is in witness whereof to the parties here to have caused their respective common seals to be. What are we witnessing? What are we witnessing to sign to have these two signatures here, employer and employee? What is the scope of work? What is the payment time period, and so on and so forth? Is this a standard contract procurement?
Director of Works is then.
Director of Works. Then on this Kaflafuta River to Cabbage or Mupapa, has the road been existing? And who provided the capital machinery for road widening? I see just little description, road clearing, widening, and so on. Who provided the capital equipment? Because for CHIO, he was just doing labor. He was just a supervisor. So, and where is the ledger? How much did it even cost? What is even the distance, the linear distance of this road? Thank you.
CS, and through the CS, Director of Works, then.
Thank you.
Where are you now? Which local authority are you with now?
Chair, I'm the Director of Engineering Services at Mufulira Municipal Council.
Mufulira now.
Yes, Chair.
Okay. Yes?
Thank you, Chair. The stretch of this road is about 800 meters. What it is that this project...
Less than a kilometer.
Less than a kilometer, Chair.
Yes.
Yes. So I would like to inform this committee that the project is existent. I don't know where the non-existent is coming from. The project has been existent. And on this project, we did not employ any machinery. It was just more like a labor-based contract where a contractor was identified. So the locals were actually used to clear the same road in question. The works or the scopes that were involved are clearing, widening, and stamping partly. So basically, there was no machinery that was used on this. It was just the locals.
What you are mentioning, is it in this report or it's just in your head?
It is in the report, Chair.
Go to the report. You go to your contract and go to page 9. Go to page 8. Page 8, what is the scope?
Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. When we go to page 8, the works there are described on the third line from the last.
Read.
The scope of works included road siting, road marking, and clearing.
Road. So what you are mentioning and what you are reading, is it the same?
Okay, Chair, it may differ in the description that I made.
We do tell you to say we read. Go to your contract agreement. F. Read the contract. Mic on.
Contract agreement for opening Kaflafta River Road, Mupapa Bridge in Chikundwe Kaunga Zone in Mishikishi Ward of Masaiti constituency.
Just
between
there. Go flip the page. Is there any scope of work in that contract?
Okay, Chair, that's the, remember there are two questions that were asked.
Yes.
I just answered one, so I was coming to the next question,
Yes.
Chair. So on this one, Chair, like it is being correctly observed, there is an omission here. These are simple contract where we are supposed to have another page here where we describe the person doing the works, and also we repeat what I just read regarding the works that are supposed to be done on the same.
Sometimes you test your committee. You don't do that. Do your work. We may go on and on, but that's why we wanted, yes, the presence of your counterpart and users. Dry boreholes. You've terminated the contract. We want the water in Masaiti district. Current Director, Engineering. You cannot have 2023 projects unfinished to date. CS, take note. You have withheld the retention for the solar. Let's hope as you go and work on it, it will not break again. I'm seeing hands. I want to conclude, honorable members. We've been sitting since morning. The water schemes, that's the way to go. We can have piped water in MASAITI. All the constituencies in MASAITI district. It's attainable. It's possible. The loan recoveries. All this book, from specific audits to cross-cutting, let's go and do better. It's our Zambia together. It's our Zambia together.
Yes, Chair.
Yes.
Noted, Chair.
Wherever you go and work, it's our Zambia. You would know. All we need is to see works implemented. Thank you for all what you are doing. We are grateful. But where do we pick it from? 100 animals. And I guess these are cows. When one misses, what do you do? CS? Yes, you are two CSs, you can answer. What do you do?
Chair, the word of God tells us you put the 99 aside and look for the one missing.
That's the one we are. Thank you very much. And you know, the skills, that's what we need. We are now even teaching you, maybe it is deliberate. Hands-on. It has come out? Yes. What's the problem? No, it has come out there. Please fix. I'm happy this has happened. Those are the skills we need. That's the purpose for CDF. One by 3, 1 by 2, the desks, then the skills, then we'll build our nation. 1.6, the 36 million, who knows what? Next. The purpose is to build our Zambia together. Central government, local authority. In some other places, federal government. You are a city on your own. You are local authority on your own. You plan. You work towards improving the livelihood of that part of Zambia you are privileged to serve. We called you because they were failing to get to know where Mpapa. They were just going to be saying, no, you know, sir, you know, chair. So wherever you've gone, would say, call that person, the officer. That one animal in MASAITI, Kafulafuta. Let's go and look for it. Find it. Work on it. In this context, the animal are projects, yes. They are works. Works. Where you have gone. Works. I've heard one doctor saying, Dundumwezi. Where you are now. We'll continue encouraging you that it's possible to have zero audit queries. It's possible. Not by way of manipulation, manufacturing evidence. No. By simply working. Do your job. We end here. You saw hands. We were going to go all the way. We've ever sat here the whole night. I'm a witness. The whole night. 14:30 up to 9 hours the following day. We've ever brought blankets here. In the national interest. We are going to go. You saw we started page 1 and then page 2. So we were capable of going page 3, 4. And how many pages? How many pages? Yes, your report. It has gone up to page what? We are going to go all that far. But we have sampled. We urge you to go and do better. DF. No, this 28, you know, sir, this 45. We end here. Travel safely back to MASAITI. By God's grace, I'm reminded, and Dudumwezi Kalomo, for we had to call you from there, Mufulira, wherever we called you from. Our officers behind there. It's basically our nation, together. If it's a classroom block, your children, my children, you never know. Isn't it? From wherever we are from, Lusaka, Masaiti, Kalomo. Through you to the rest of the local authorities. If we cannot manage well the CDF, there are some other sections who are looking for this money to say take it away from local authorities, bring it to us, we implement. But the vision now is to use local authorities through decentralization. And that is the way to go. How is it doing? Let's hear from you. How is it doing in Masaiti?
Masaiti,
how is it doing? The few time you are there.
I think we are doing fine,
Exactly.
Chair.
But not with what we are saying. Frankly speaking, in near every constituency, Kalulush inclusive, 1x3 classroom block, Ndundumwezi, empowerment. All we need is to do things the right way. We are grateful. Auditor General's office. It's just to check on us. How are we doing? Your committee as well. I speak a lot, but let me end here. The Cap 12 is taken away from you, and remain with us. Go and work for our people, your people. Whatever you say outside there, you are on your own. Two CSs. I give you a chance to say something.
Thank you so much, Chair. We are humbled to reappear before this committee. As we are going back, we promise that we are going to work on our weaknesses, as highlighted by the Office of the Auditor General. We are not going to sit down. We are promising, as we'll be appearing next year, come 2024, when we will be answering for 2024, we are going to do better than we've done in 2023 in terms of the audit queries. In fact, I'm pledging that we are going to reduce the number of audit queries as we will be appearing for 2024. I submit, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Is the Cap 12 still appearing on us or withdrawn?
Yes, I've given the discretion.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Just say that is also CSC Kelenge, former DF. Your council has been noted, Chair, especially when you said when you have 100, one misses. I think there is a strong point made there that the 99 are successful, but we have still this one animal we need to look for. So we'll really treasure that animal and ensure that those inconsistencies are done away with. The monitoring and evaluation is upscaled. Otherwise, we take note of your council and we thank you very much.
DF, since you are now CS, you can share that mic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chair. We've taken your counsel seriously, Chair. If there is a time that when I was a child I would not want to repeat anything or to commit the same crime, is when my father would tell me that I'll beat you, and then he tells me later that next time if you do it. Chair, we promise. Thank you.
We take your words. Ikeleng CS, Kalomo CS, now Masaiti. We are not interested in you coming again. Don't prophesy like that. Though you went on, I thought you would go on the third time. The first time you said, when we reappear for 2024. Next you said, we would want them reduced for 2024. So I thought you were going to finish 2024 audit, we are not coming in 2026. I thought you would say, you've already said, leave it like that. But you don't prophesy in that order. The word has power. We are interested in zero audit. We end here. You may take leave. Thank you for your reappearing. But look here, one day,
good evening. There you have it. That's MASAITI Town Council making an appearance before the Committee on Local Government Accounts as the committee continues to consider the report of the Auditor General on the Constituency Development Fund for the financial year ended 31st December 2023. And MASAITI Town Council was flanked by Mr. Robert Mulauzi, who was the town council. So the day started off with Mongo Town Council making an appearance before the committee, and it was led by Mr. Oliver Muka. And we also had Mitete Town Council, which was led by Mr. Kennedy Kazanda. And just to mention that Mitete Town Council has been asked, by the committee to resubmit the report because the committee apparently was not happy with the report that was submitted earlier by Mitete, Town Council. So a day to be set for Mitete Town Council to come back again and appear before the Committee on Local Government Accounts. And so that's it. That's all the time that we had for you. Remember, you can always join us tomorrow starting at 9:30 as more councils countrywide continue to appear before the Committee on Local Government Accounts. Thank you for your time. Good night and bye-bye.